What's up guys, it's Typhoon here, and in this video we're going to be talking through the best FPS optimizations for Fortnite in Season 7. If this video helps you at all, please make sure that you click the like button and consider subscribing down below. We have a lot to get through, so let's jump straight into it. Okay, so the first optimization is actually on the Epic Games launcher, so make sure you load up your Epic Games launcher, you go over to the library, and then you click on these three dots here, and on there you then click onto options, and you'll notice that there is this high resolution textures. Now I've already turned it off, but it's actually on by default, so you just have to come to this bit, click it off, and then click apply. Your game will then update and you'll be able to launch it, and that will give you the first FPS boost of this video. So next we're actually going to move on to the Windows settings themselves. So these are the Windows optimizations, and then later on we're going to move on to the actual Fortnite in-game optimization. Okay, so for the next optimization, you need to make sure that you just come down to the bottom left here, you go on to search, and make sure that you go to game mode settings like that, and make sure that your game mode is set to on, as you can see here. Turn that on to on. You then click over up to this part, the Xbox game bar, and make sure that that's turned off. And then finally you go to captures and just make sure that all the captures are turned to off. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do, guys, is we're actually going to make changes to the Fortnite.exe file. So the first thing you have to do is make sure you go down to the bottom left, you select a new file explorer, and then you click onto this PC. And then you just want to search this PC. So what you need to put in here is just the Fortnite.exe, just like that, and you make sure you search that. Okay, so once you see these options come up, then you just need to make sure that you right click one of them, just like that, and then you click onto open file location. And then you just need to make sure that you find the Fortnite client-win64 shipping, right click this and select properties. And then once you're on properties, you go over to compatibility, and then as you can see, you have this disable full screen optimization section. Now if you're on a low or medium end PC, I would say have this button checked here. However, if you're on a high end PC, then all you need to do is just disable this right there, and then also you need to make sure that you click on this button just below the change high DPI settings, and then you just need to put override high DPI scaling behavior, and then make sure you keep it as application. So for the next optimization, it is very simple. You just need to right click at the bottom, select task manager, and then just navigate over to the startup. And with the startup, you've basically just got everything that will start up when you boot up your PC. So you basically just need to make sure that you disable the ones that you don't want to start up. So for example, here I've got the iTunes helper. I just want to right click and disable that. I would recommend only disabling the ones that you know about. So if there's any on there that you're not sure what they do and whether they actually should be coming up when you first boot up your PC, I would leave those ones, but make sure you disable as many as you can if you know what they're actually doing. Okay guys, so the next optimization is actually one that I mentioned in my last FPS video, and it doesn't really give you that much of a boost, but it's certainly worth doing just as a sort of a cleanup for your PC anyway. It should make things even the slightest bit faster. So you just need to come down to the search bar, put in percent and then 10% like that, and open up that folder. And then in this folder, you basically just need to select everything in here and select delete. Do this for all current items and skip, and that should go through. Again, do this for all current items and skip, and do that as many times as it asks the prompt, and eventually this should all go, and that is one of the optimizations for your PC. Sometimes some things may stay, and if they do, just don't worry about it. Leave any remaining folders or files just like that, leave those files and just continue on. Okay guys, so the next settings are a little bit weird, but basically the first one is the mouse settings. So search mouse into the bottom left corner, go to mouse settings, and over here at the right you see additional mouse options, and then you just need to go to pointer options, and here you can see you've got selector pointer speed. Make sure that this enhanced pointer precision is unchecked. You then just need to set this to 6, so you just count along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you click apply, and Eventually OK, and now you just actually basically have to do the same thing for your keyboard settings. So just put in keyboard, and you see this keyboard option here, which is keyboard control panel. You go onto that and just make sure that you set the repeat delay onto as short as possible and repeat rate as fast as possible. Click apply and click OK. Okay guys, so for the next one we again go down to this bottom left search bar. We put in power plan, and then once I put in power, up comes power plan. You can then click back to power options at the top here, and then you basically just put it onto high performance. So high performance is obviously going to get you the best performance. Sometimes if you're on maybe a lower end PC, you might have to click on balanced, but I'd just give that a little test, but preferably have yourself on high performance. Okay guys, so this next one is one that I learned from the YouTuber Panjano. If you haven't checked him out already, please go and check him out. I'm sure you've already heard of him, but basically you just navigate to this website. I'll put a link to this website in the description below, and it's called the Intelligent Standby List Cleaner, or ISLC as an acronym for short. And when you're on this website, you just need to scroll down to this part, which is the official download here. Download it, click save. You'll see when I go to my downloads, I have already downloaded this. Just extract it to your desktop. So I'm just going to go to my desktop there and extract it. You then need to navigate into the folder, and then you just open it up from here. Okay. And now when you're on this list, you just need to make sure that on the first box, it's 1024 as it already is here. And then on your free memory is lower than, you just need to make sure that that is half of your system memory, your total system memory, which is in the top left here. So my one is about 16,000. So I'm going to turn mine to about 8,000. So 8, 2, 3. Just like that. And then on your wanted timer resolution over here to the right, you just want to change that to 0.50 and just delete the added characters on there. You then need to make sure that you click the tick for enable custom timer resolution, and then you just need to change this polling rate. So this polling rate, if you've got a low end or medium end PC, have this polling rate at the standard 1000 that is already on there. If you've got a high-end PC, then I'd recommend going to 500 just like that, and then you need to click on purge standby list like so. Wait for that to work, which I think it did. There we go. And then we just clicked on start, and once you've started that, you just minimize that, and when you're playing a game, you just have that running in the background, and when you're finished, go off it and you're all good. Okay guys, so we're now going to look at a few more of the in-game settings. So let's head back to the Epic Games launcher again and click settings down here. And once you're on these settings, make sure that you just scroll down and you find Fortnite, and here you can see this additional command line argument. Make sure that's unchecked. Mine already was, but I just wanted to show that one, and then let's jump into the game itself. Okay guys, so let's get on with the actual in-game settings themselves. So I'll try and go through these as quickly as possible because I don't want to waste too much time in this video. So the first thing we need to do is make sure our window mode is set to full screen. Never change it from full screen. That is absolutely what you need. The resolution, just set that to your native resolution for your monitor. So for me it's 1920 by 1080. Yours could be different. You just need to find out what that is. So if you don't know what it is, try and search your monitor on the internet or find out what resolution your monitor is and turn it to that. Frame rate limit is your refresh rate of your monitor, so always cap it. So if you've got a 240Hz monitor, cap it at 240 FPS, 120. For a 60Hz monitor, I would say try it at 60 or try it at unlimited. If unlimited gives you too much screen tearing, then I just put it back down to 60. But when you're on the lower FPS, it doesn't really matter quite so much. When it comes to the graphics, I would just leave this stuff. This is all personal preference, so you can kind of play around with that. I won't tell you exactly what to put on those ones. So now we come down to here. So 3D resolution. The lower this is, the better FPS you're going to get, but also your game can look pretty terrible. I'd probably turn this down to around, I don't know, 85% can sometimes look okay. Maybe slightly more, maybe up it to maybe 90% like that, and that will be good. View distance, you're actually better off with view distance going for far, and the reason for that is because if you go for near, then it actually means that you're constantly rendering in new items. It actually makes your game perform worse. So go for far on this. Epic will probably be a little bit too far, so just go for far itself. You want to have your shadows to be off, you want your anti-aliasing to be off, you want your textures. So your textures actually will need to be medium or low. And the reason for this is because what we did earlier on has actually kind of just turned off the high level textures anyway. So I'm going to set mine to medium. Effects, again, low, and post-processing, low. You want your VSync to be off, you want your motion blur to be off, you want to put your show FPS to, I mean, it's kind of personal preference. I like to have mine on just to see how my game is performing. Rendering mode, it kind of depends on your PC here. Now, I think I always recommend changing this over to performance mode for a low-end PC, because performance mode is of course going to give you the best performance. Then the allow multi-threaded rendering, I would have this on. The crash debugging off. I'd have the latency markers off. If you have the option of the Nvidia Reflex low latency, then I'd turn this on with the boost, and then I'd turn the latency flash off. And then DLS, I would actually recommend you have the DLS up. Yeah, so with the DLS, just put that over to quality there, and then just apply that, and that should be it for your settings. Of course, the rendering mode does mean a lot, so just have a little play around with DX11, DX12 and performance mode, but I would really recommend performance mode if you're on a lower end PC, or even on a higher end PC if you want to get the top performance out of your PC. So next we're going to actually go on to the config file itself for Fortnite. So at the bottom left search, again, just put in % app data and then %. At the top here, you can see you can click on app data and then click onto local, scroll down to F, you can see Fortnite game, click on Fortnite game, click on saved, click onto the config section, and then click onto Windows client and then game user settings. Make this bigger and then just scroll down to the middle section here and you'll see the scalability groups. Just make sure that your shading quality is equal to 0, your foliage quality is equal to 0, and your post-process quality is also 0. And once you've done all this, file, click save, and then close. Okay, so next up guys is the pretty standard thing that you need to do whenever you are trying to boost your FPS, and that is just heading to nvidia.com if you have an Nvidia card, or just basically search up your graphics card on Google and find the latest drivers and install them. I won't go through exactly how to do this. I'll link a video in the description below that I made from last season, and that'll show you how you can actually install the drivers onto your system. But yeah, just make sure that your drivers are up to date for your graphics card. Okay guys, so next up we're just going to do the Nvidia control panel settings. Now if you don't have an Nvidia card then you can't follow along for this, so please just skip past. I'll put a timestamp on the screen. But basically you open up the Nvidia control panel and just make sure that you have clicked on the adjust image settings with preview. Use the advanced 3D image settings, and once you've done that you go down to manage 3D settings, and on here you just need to make sure that the low latency mode is set to on, just like so. You then need to make sure that image sharpening is set to off, like so, so off, scaling disabled. You then need to make sure that you go to the power management mode, and on the power management mode just prefer maximum performance, like that. You then need to make sure that on your preferred refresh rate just below it is just going to be on highest available. And then the most important one is that you go over to your texture filtering quality and you make sure that that is just on high performance, as you can see here. And finally, you just need to make sure that over the left on the display section, you just go to the adjust desktop size and position and make sure that no scaling is set. Only do this if you're playing on a native resolution. If you're playing on some sort of stretch resolution or custom resolution, then do not do this. And that is it for this video on FPS guys for season 7. So you should now be set up really well for the new season and you should be getting really good FPS. If this video did help you out or if you did enjoy, please make sure that you click the like button down below. Please consider subscribing as well, and if you do subscribe, please make sure you click the notification bell. That way you'll be notified of my videos in future, and hopefully I will see all of you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.